आते रहमत अने बरकत लाशे मोमीनो ना दिलड़ा हर शे उभरा शे मोमीनो ना दिलड़ा हर शे उभरा शे. Like the first day of the spring, all the beauty that it brings. Upon the coming of the light is a chance for us to shine brighter and brighter and brighter. Fly higher and higher and higher. All of the darkness gone away. Wings of love and a brand new day. Struggling for my words today, but my heart jumps in and begins to sing brighter and brighter and brighter. Fly higher and higher and higher. Aya Maulana, Aya Maulana, Aya Maulana, Aya Maulana. तुम्हारे आने से नूर भरा है,
दिलों में जहानों में आज अश्कों भी रोशन है.
C'est toi qu'on désire voir, soleil de nos espoirs. C'est toi que l'on accueillit, la beauté de l'avenir. Ta lumière nous illumine tous.
And so we shine brighter and brighter and brighter. Fly higher and higher and higher. Aya Maulana, Aya Maulana, Aya Maulana, Aya Maulana.
You is our smile, with you is our life, from you is our light, and all throughout time it's through you we unite.
No mountain, no river, no desert means that we're always together.
पाड़ा जे खुलिया छे रहमत अने स्वर्ग ना द्वार अवियो आले नबीनो प्यारे. So we shine brighter and brighter and brighter. Fly higher and higher and higher. Aya Maulana, 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 Aya Maulana. Le temps est arrivé, le temps est arrivé, le temps est arrivé. موج نورانی شده.
عیا فتاب عصر درخشان خوش آمدی، وقت شفاعت و صبح نمایان خوش آمدی.
आएंगे आएंगे आ गए मौला, आएंगे आएंगे आ गए मौला, आएंगे आएंगे आ गए मौला, शुक्राने आएंगे आ गए मौला.
Yali Millet, and welcome everyone to this week's episode of Friday Night Reflections. Bienvenue tout le monde, ça me fait grand plaisir d'être là parmi vous pour les réflexions de vendredi soir. My name is Salima Remtulla, and I'd like to extend a warm welcome to all of our Jamati and multi-faith family members tuning in from across the country and around the world. And what the heck, a big hug to all of you too. I'm finding hugs are in short supply these days. I hope that everyone at home is finding time to reflect, pray, and commit to acts of devotion this Ramadan. This is a month of spiritual discipline and fulfillment, and I hope that everyone has the opportunity to experience its blessings. Tonight, I'm joining you from the beautiful unceded territory of the Musqueam, the Squamish, and the Tsleil-Waututh First Nations, a place I know as Vancouver and home. So, I don't know if the powers that be timed it this way, but it was my birthday this week, and getting the call to host Friday Night Reflections was a pretty amazing highlight. I have to say, both of my COVID birthdays have actually been pretty awesome, despite, or maybe because of the social isolation we're all experiencing right now. I've ended my COVID birthdays feeling super connected to my extended family all over the world and to friends from a whole bunch of different contexts. This year, I reconnected with friends from high school, college, and business school, with colleagues from former workplaces, with folks I met while living and traveling abroad, and even with classmates from childhood BUI classes. The icing on the cake, or should I say, the oil on the sock, was that one of my favorite mas from Jamatkana made a giant pot of kukupaka for my birthday dinner. Well, my birthday dinner and the rest of the week. It was like this amazing giant bucket of love and deliciousness. And all of these touch points made me reflect on how grateful I am for the communities I've been a part of in the past and the ones I continue to be a part of today. I'm a firm believer in community and how the whole can reflect so much more than the sum of the parts. I've often heard my grandparents talk about how the Jamaat's support for each other helped all of our families to overcome the challenges of migration. Last week's Friday Night Reflections was about the Family Mentorship Program and the Future Ready Initiative, which are great examples of how our community continues to play an important role in building strong foundations our future generations can build upon. As we heard last week, the Family Mentorship Program will rely on members of the Jamaat volunteering their time to support and mentor one another, ensuring that each member of the Jamaat has the tools to reach their full potential. This spirit of volunteerism is, of course, built into our community and is a central pillar to our faith. I was raised by parents who role modeled this for me, so there's never been any question for me of whether to give back. What I have struggled with, though, is how to give back. Do I solve for what has the greatest impact or what gives me the greatest satisfaction and motivates me to keep giving? Is it important that my service directly benefit the communities I most identify with? And as a mom and a wife and a daughter and a professional, how do I structure my giving to keep all of these balls up in the air? I'm looking forward to exploring some of these questions tonight with our guests and with all of you. Tonight's show marks the conclusion of National Volunteer Week, and throughout the show, we will reflect on the virtues of service, be inspired to commit to more acts of service, and contemplate how we can serve during these pandemic times. This week, we're going to have a little bit of fun as well. I'm really looking forward to what's ahead. First, we'll have a special message from earlier in the week from President Ismaili Lakha, offering a very special gratitude to all of our volunteers, which, let's be honest, is almost everyone in the community. We'll then have the special privilege of having a conversation with two very distinguished guests, the Lieutenant Governor of British Columbia, the Honourable Janet Austin, and the Lieutenant Governor of Alberta, the Honourable Salma Lakhani. Their honours will speak to their lives of service and the important role it plays as a central Canadian value. After that, we'll hear from some volunteers across the country about their experience volunteering and what keeps them motivated to serve. And then, this week, we have an exciting new segment, Family Challenge IVC Edition, where you can play along with our participants to test your knowledge of volunteer trivia. Finally, as we always do, we will end this evening with wonderful musical expressions. Before we start the show, I want to remind you that if you are not able to watch the show all in one seating, if you need to take a break because it's prayer time in your region, or perhaps it's dinner time, You can always pause the program and continue later, or view it on demand at iicanada.org/FNR. To start off, please welcome President Ismaili Kassim Lakha and his very nice tie.
Dear volunteers, this weekend marks the start of National Volunteer Week. This year's theme is the value of one, the power of many. It reflects the kind acts of thousands of volunteers and the powerful forces that emerge when we serve together. We often recognize the work of volunteers, but in this pandemic year, the efforts of our volunteers have been exceptional. Night and day, our boards, portfolios, and volunteers have been thinking of the welfare of the Jamaat. They are constantly ensuring we are cared for, supported, and protected. The volunteers may be unknown to the Jamaat, they may receive no recognition, but they know, and our beloved Imam knows, how much they have accomplished for the Jamaat. Working together can bring about monumental change. We see this time and again. With our volunteers, strengthening communities, delivering comfort, sharing skills, inspiring creativity, and keeping us safe. The impacts of these initiatives are outstanding at face value, but they have even more meaning in their essence. I want you to remember something. When you serve, you are already in success. You're not on the path to success. You are already in success. When you support others and show kindness, you have already made progress. What does this mean? It means that when you are constantly thinking about what is in the best interest of the Jamaat, when you are consumed by your ambition for the Jamaat, as so many of you are, you begin to see and feel as though your life is moving forward, materially and spiritually. Things just work out for you. Those deep in service describe it as a confluence of forces that come together to bring success. When you approach your service in this way, it brings immense happiness and satisfaction. When you support others, you in turn are supported. The benefits are magnified. So I say to all our volunteers, work hard for the Jamaat, because the results are certain. Our impact is made individual by individual, family by family. Work with families with love, dignity, confidentiality, and in a spirit of partnership. Remember, you are receiving a blessing in every single person or family who you support. Optimize this blessing. Sometimes your task may seem difficult. Keep the spirit of what you are doing uppermost in your heart. It will remind you that you are not alone in your service. You are simply an instrument and are being supported every step of the way. One more point. Keep your eye on the outcome. Think of what your service will mean at the end. Let the inevitable moment resonate in your mind. Services rendered in a time of crisis, such as a pandemic, have a deep spiritual meaning. On a more personal level, I want to share with you that for many of us, there are farmans of our beloved Imam that remain in our heart all the time, that guide us, inspire us, and protect us. 2 farmans on service are on my mind all the time, if I may share them with you. They are: every little service you perform for your brothers and sisters will be rewarded to you many times over. And the second farman: there are volunteers who I see with my eyes and those who I feel with my heart. Keep these farmans in your heart and keep up your great work. Thank you and Khuda Hafiz.
Thank you so much, President Amir. I echo that gratitude for all of our volunteers who contribute their time for the Jamaat and the broader community. They keep us going, united and strong, and I hope this tradition of service will be a core part of our tariqa for centuries to come. And now, let's prepare for our feature conversation with Janet Austin, the Lieutenant Governor of British Columbia, and Salma Lakhani, the Lieutenant Governor of Alberta. The Honourable Janet Austin was sworn in as BC's 30th Lieutenant Governor in 2018. Prior to being the Queen's representative in the province, her honour was the Chief Executive Officer of YWCA Metro Vancouver, one of BC's largest and most diversified nonprofits, for 15 years. She has served on the boards of TransLink, the Greater Vancouver Board of Trade, the Canadian Pediatric Society, the Council for Early Childhood Development, the Women's Health Research Institute, Mosaic, and the Dr. Peter AIDS Foundation. She has been a long-time volunteer with United Way of the Lower Mainland and has served on the BC Provincial Advisory Council on Social Entrepreneurship, the City of Vancouver Healthy City for All Leadership Council, and the Organizing Committee for the National Retreat for Women. Her distinguished career in the nonprofit sector was recognized with the Order of British Columbia in 2016, the Queen Elizabeth II Diamond Jubilee Medal in 2012, and the Queen Elizabeth II Golden Jubilee Medal in 2002. The Honourable Salma Lakhani was sworn in as Alberta's 19th Lieutenant Governor on August 26, 2020. Her long-standing service as a community leader and volunteer has been guided by her deep commitment to the values of pluralism and inclusion and her dedication to championing those who face barriers in life. Looking for a way to contribute to Alberta, her honour became one of the first mentors in Norquest College's Youth in Transition program, providing invaluable guidance for students with English as a second language. She was also a founding member of the college's 1,000 Women, A Million Possibilities movement. Madam Lakhani has shared her skills, energy, and passion for service with the Lois Hole Hospital for Women, Kids Cottage, Sorrentino's Compassion House, the Alberta Cancer Board, the Zebra Foundation, and Aga Khan Foundation Canada. Her honour has further demonstrated her commitment to pluralism and fostering diversity through her work as a board member of the John Humphrey Centre for Peace and Human Rights. Please welcome to the program their honours, Madam Austin and Madam Lakhani. Yalimadat, and welcome to Friday Night Reflections, Your Honours. The first question I have for you today is, what do we mean by service? How narrowly or broadly do you think about this topic? And from your perspectives, why is service important? Perhaps we could start with you, Madam Austin.
Thank you so much, Selena, and thank you so much for inviting me to join you this evening. It's a great honor and a pleasure for me personally. When I think of service, it's something I define really very broadly. And at its core, fundamentally, it's about taking responsibility for people outside yourself, outside your own immediate family group, and recognizing the responsibility that we have to others. And I think service can be manifest in many different ways. It can be manifest through direct support to people who are most vulnerable, through support for education, which helps to level the playing field and create equal opportunity for many people, through advocacy for public policy reforms that improve the quality of life for others, and from philanthropy, people who are willing to contribute of their own wealth in order to benefit the broader community. But ultimately, it's about the fact that it's about understanding our mutual interdependence and that we have a collective responsibility to each other.
And Madam Lakhani, do you have anything to add?
Yes, Yalimadet Salima, and I'd like to begin by saying that it's such a delight for me to be on Friday Night Reflections with my vice-regal colleague, the Honourable Janet Austin from British Columbia, who I know is a very, very accomplished community volunteer and leader. So it's a real delight for me. Thank you. To me, service, the core essence of service is to give of your time, your energy, your resources to make life and society better for others. It's about building strong and vibrant communities around us, and it's about focusing on others. You know, I always say, if we want for others what we want for ourselves, what a beautiful world this would be. And service can take, any form. It doesn't matter. Picking up a phone and bringing a smile to someone who's living alone, is older, vulnerable, that is service. So, and it reminds me of a beautiful story I heard today. This little boy knew his neighbor's wife had passed away. So he walked over and spent some time. Then his mom said, "What did you say to him?" And he said, "Nothing, I just helped him cry." And that is service to me. Even the smallest acts of kindness are service to me.
I love that you've both defined this topic so broadly, because I think it's often easy to overlook the small things each one of us can do every day that really make a difference. Now, I'm wondering if you can share with me some examples of your experience with service within the Ismaili community, and what impact those interactions had for you. Madam Lakhani, would you like to start?
Sure. Service within the Ismaili community. Well, I am an Ismaili, so I started my service within the Ismaili community. And we all know that the Ismaili community, like many other communities around us, are run by volunteers. The volunteers are the backbone of the community. And we've seen examples. I'll talk to the Ismaili community. We have volunteers who serve from the highest level, from the national councils, the regional councils, all the portfolios, who look after the welfare and well-being of Ismaili community members, are all volunteers. So volunteers in the Ismaili community are the backbone of the community. And we have many examples within our community that, the partnership walk, which is not only about fundraising for the developing world, but it's also about raising awareness and building friends in that arena. We have Civic 150, which came about when Canada celebrated its 150th birthday, where the Ismaili community said that they would donate 1 million hours of voluntary service to make life better for others. And I think we surpassed that goals. And all of these volunteer activities actually also benefit us, because along the way, we learn such amazing skills. And so within the Ismaili community, and I must say, volunteerism is not unique to the Ismaili community, but there is a lot of learning that happens when you are within the Ismaili community.
And Madam Austin, you're a great friend to our community and you know us very well. What are your perceptions of service within the Ismaili context?
Well, I'm a huge fan of the Ismaili community, and really I've been privileged to have developed, I think, a relationship with your community over many years. And when I think about my own personal values and my philosophy of what is important in life, and in work, and in society generally, I feel very strong alignment with the values and cultures that are embedded really in Ismaili culture. And I think there are many reasons for this. You know, the emphasis that your community always places on education, deeply held commitment to community service and volunteerism, which Her Honor Salma has so beautifully described for us. And also the conscious development of community structures like the beautiful Jamet Kana Center in Burnaby, at which I've been a guest many times. So I guess initially I connected with your community through the partnership walk, having been a long-time volunteer with United Way, and continued that for a number of years. And then as the CEO of the YWCA and a board member with the Women's Health Research Institute, had the privilege of working with your community on the Ismaili Walk for Women. So the Women's Health Research Institute. The research work done by our team there benefited greatly from the proceeds from that walk for several years. And then you assisted the YWCA to build a fabulous housing facility for single mothers and children in the downtown east side. But it was a wonderful project that had a broader reach and reflected these values. In the last year or so, I guess, of my term as CEO of the YWCA, I had wanted to do some work around combating Islamophobia. And of course, you were the first people I reached out to. But we hosted a wonderful public discussion, public dialogue at the Jamaica Center, where we had a very varied group of leaders from a variety of different faiths who spoke most passionately about the topic, and I think really helped to, it made a contribution, I think, to the public discourse around the issue at the time. And then I'll say also that I've been fortunate to have been the recipient of many generous invitations to attend public dialogues, celebratory events, to hear marvelous speakers. And it's always very high on my agenda to be able to attend these events. And I'm very grateful for the learning that I've acquired through my relationship with your community.
And Madam Austin, you actually had an opportunity to meet His Highness the Aga Khan during his Diamond Jubilee. Is that right?
Absolutely.
And what was that experience like for you?
Well, as you can imagine, it was absolutely wonderful. I actually had two occasions to interact with His Highness. The first was I was privileged to be able to greet him upon landing in Vancouver, to be the person who represented the province in welcoming him to our province, and had the opportunity to engage briefly with him there. And of course, he could not possibly be kinder, more compassionate, or more generous. And you see that in the way he interacts with everybody. I also had the privilege of participating in a ceremony that UBC and SFU conducted jointly to confer 2 honorary doctorates on His Highness, and had the privilege of participating with him, sitting with him, and discussing various things while we were preparing for and participating in that ceremony. And we also had an opportunity to have a private small group roundtable discussion with him, which included the university presidents, leaders in your community, and myself. And I have been deeply impressed by the work that he has done, the leadership that he has shown, and deeply impressed by the way that he has, I think, interpreted the essence of faith in a way that reflects contemporary realities and challenges in society. So I think we see an evolution that is deeply grounded in those fundamental values of faith, that because it continues to be relevant and has evolved, has grown in stature and influence. And so there's many more things I could say, but I think I'll stop there. Thank you.
Now, I want to shift gears a little bit and ask each of you a little bit more about your own experiences with service. Madam Lakhani, in your interview on Ismaili TV earlier this year, you talked about finding causes that you're passionate about and then just really driving forward to advance those objectives. I wonder if you can tell us about how you discovered the causes that you connect with today and the ones that you currently choose to champion.
So I think the causes that I have decided to champion are because of my life's experience, coming to Canada as a stateless person or a refugee. So the causes that help marginalized people, newcomers, people who've come here under such terrible circumstances, helping those people to become fully contributing members of society are really and truly very, very important to me. And I'd like to say that we in our community, from the time we were very, very little, we have the concept of seva, selfless service for the betterment of life for others. And I'd like to say that the skills we learn by doing seva in our community, by volunteering, those skills are amazing. We have an amazing training ground. And I can tell you that for me, it was a real springboard to the other causes that I supported. But by and large, the causes that I support are causes that I truly feel passionate about. I feel strongly about these causes, and I try and champion them. And whenever I get involved, I want to make sure that I'm making a difference. And I believe the way I've gotten involved in those also is that I've been fortunate to know like-minded people who have the same values as I have, and who invited me to go on that journey with them, to sit on the various different committees and organizations. But I always say that once you get involved in a cause, give it your best and be an ambassador for that cause.
And maybe to dive a little bit deeper into sort of how you've gotten involved in the past, to what extent have you actively identified those causes and then found ways to advance the objectives versus, you talked about sort of being invited along by folks who shared a like-mindedness?
Well, I think in the beginning, I was, as I said, my first voluntary work was within the Ismaili community. So that I knew what I had learned, what I had gained. Because when you volunteer, yes, you're trying to make life better for others, but you're also gaining a lot yourself. You're building those personal relationships. You're building capacity within your own self. So some of it might have been opportunistic, but by and large, most of the things that I got involved with were shaped by my life's journey and causes that I really and truly believed in. And I guess I was fortunate enough to be asked, because I just heard Mayor Nenshi speak the other day, and he said, a lot of times people don't volunteer because they're not asked. And sometimes that's all it takes. So I genuinely believe that if I'm serving on a board or if I'm serving in an organization, I should share it with everybody, be an ambassador for that cause, and see if they're interested and invite them along. Because people sometimes need to be asked to join and volunteer.
Thank you. And then one more question. You talked about your experiences volunteering within the community and outside. And I wonder if at any point you had to actively work to balance or maybe even choose between volunteering directly within the community and through broader civil society organizations. And how did you navigate that?
Yeah. I really don't think you need to choose. I think service is service, whether it is within your faith community, your cultural community, or the community you live in. You just need to feel comfortable with what you are doing. And one thing can lead to another. I can tell you, Salima, that for me, I started my community service when my husband was appointed chairman of the Edmonton Administrative Committee, only about a year and a half after we'd been in Edmonton. And in those days, we did not have a council in Edmonton. We had an administrative committee. And he was appointed chair of the committee. And we all know that when you serve, it's not just an individual thing. The whole family is involved in service a lot of times. So I had to give it my all. And, at the time, it was quite overwhelming for us because we were much younger. My husband was doing his residency program at the University of Alberta Hospital, and it was quite overwhelming. But the things we learned through that journey of ours really, really gave us, as I said, it was a real trampoline for us to get engaged in once he had finished his term as the chairman, we had met so many people outside the Ismaili community, and we got involved in causes and organizations outside of the Ismaili community. So I don't think that you need to necessarily choose. If you're comfortable volunteering within your community, that's great, You're helping others wherever you serve, whether it's in the broader community. But remember, the skills you learn within our community are very much appreciated in the broader community. And if you choose to go out and serve in the broader community, you will acquire skills that you can then bring back to your own community.
Thank you so much. This is something with that I struggle with a little bit personally, so I really appreciate your reflections. Madam Austin, you've published a platform that identifies the themes that you want to really focus on in your time as Lieutenant Governor. Will you share the pillars of that platform with our audience and talk a little bit about how you came to have these issues be important to you?
Yes, certainly. One of the privileges of being Lieutenant Governor is that in addition to the constitutional and ceremonial responsibilities that we have, we do have the opportunity to bring profile to some areas of themes or issues that we feel are important. And so I selected 3, and they are essentially a continuation of much of my previous work. So the first is reconciliation. I do believe deeply that we have a serious work to do here in Canada in reconciling our differences with Indigenous peoples. The history of colonialism that has damaged these communities so greatly is something that we need to address in a serious way and create better conditions of equality and prosperity for all. So I'm working on that in a variety of different ways and very proud of what we've accomplished so far. The second is building support for that vision of inclusion, diversity, and equality. And I mean by that both economic and gender equality and respect for pluralism in our country. And again, this is something that I have worked on through much of my professional life. And it is indeed a privilege to be able to take that work and use the platform of Lieutenant Governor to continue it. And the third is democracy. I believe very strongly that we are privileged and incredibly privileged to live in a country that has a well-functioning democracy. No, it's not perfect. No governance system is perfect, but here in Canada, I think we enjoy a level of freedom, quality of life that is not enjoyed by most of the people in most of the countries around the world, and we need to really value that. I also believe that our constitutional monarchy, that is key to our system of governance, is a real stabilizing characteristic in Canadian society. It connects us to a tradition of parliamentary democracy, respect for the rule of law. It connects us outwardly to the Commonwealth and to common values that are embraced by the countries that are members of the Commonwealth. So I have been very concerned as we look around the world to see the erosion of the fragility, really, of democracy in many different jurisdictions and the erosion of respect for democratic conventions and the public institutions that support them. The decline of civility in public and political discourse, and concerned also about the growth of these online algorithms and social media platforms that actually reinforce the biases that we already have and separate us from views that are different from our own. And I think these are really potentially very damaging to society, because I do believe fundamentally that we need to reach out across those boundaries that divide people in society and make a conscious effort to get to know people whose life experience, whose views are different from ours, in order to really build a well-functioning democracy. So in my role as Lieutenant Governor, I have chosen to put a great deal of emphasis on that. And you know, I have been very proud and privileged of what we've been able to do so far.
And maybe a follow-up on your last point about building relationships with people who are different or who may have different views. I know that you're investing in learning the language of some of our First Nations, and I'll share that every time we meet in an Ismaili context, it really touches me that you take an effort to greet us in our tradition and our language by saying Yali Madat. And I wonder, do you have any advice for us just in terms of how to build authentic relationships, or, when we find ourselves serving in communities that we ourselves are not a part of, how do we do that with appropriate humility?
Oh, Salima, I think you set the example for me, really. And you set the example for many communities in Canada. When I think of the Ismaili community and what you have done to build inclusive communities, that goes back to the period of time that Salma has been talking about when she came to this country, as a refugee and had to build a community here. What I think is so marvelous about the Ismaili community is that you do wonderful work supporting your own community, but it's part of your culture and values to also reach out to the broader community. So I would simply say that I learned from you in terms of your willingness to reach out and across those boundaries that I spoke of and build relationships in that kind of fundamental way. So you're constantly looking for how you can engage elsewhere and how you can contribute constructively to the efforts that others are making to improve the quality of life. So and I mean that most sincerely. It has been a marvelous experience for me, getting to know and being friends with many of the leaders in your community.
Your Honor is very kind.
It's true.
Now, I wonder if Your Honors, might indulge me. You've shared some great stories about your service in the past, and I'd be interested in looking a little bit to the future, because both of you hold roles that give you the possibility of leaving a really powerful legacy. And I wonder from each of your perspectives, what does that vision look like for you, and what do you want to be remembered for? Madam Lakhani, would you like to start with this one?
Yes, thank you, Salima. I've been in this role just 8 short months, and it has been a steep learning curve for me because nobody can ever prepare for a role like this. It's a work in progress, and for me, it certainly is. And I'll be the first to admit that I have a lot of learning to do. And I mentioned to my vice-regal colleague, the Honourable Janet Austin, yesterday that she has to be a mentor for me now, and she's kindly agreed to do that. But for me, at the moment, in the short term, what I'm trying to do is trying to highlight and shine a light on volunteers, grassroots volunteers, who never get recognition. But that doesn't mean that they stop serving. They will do it regardless of whether they get recognized with an award or a medal or whatever. They will carry on the good work that they are doing. And so for me, in the short term, that is one of the things that I'm focusing on, is shining a spotlight on our unsung heroes. But what I would like to really focus on in later years, once my vision for my legacy has formed and crystallized, and it may not be just one thing, like Janet said, it could be 3 different things, 4 different things, whatever. But I would like, Canada is applauded for its values of pluralism, inclusivity, and diversity. But we have seen with what's going on down south, and even up here now, unfortunately, that these values are not felt by all. And I want to make sure that we all know and realize that we have to work a lot harder to make these values felt by every single citizen of Canada. So those are some of the things. And I would also like to be known for someone who reached out to people from all walks of life, and brought Albertans along the journey, this amazing journey that I am on, that I've been given an opportunity to be on. I want to bring all Albertans on this journey with me. And I know that this office is not about me, it is about the people of Alberta. So I would like to be known as the Lieutenant Governor for the people of Alberta.
And Madam Austin, how about you?
That was a very beautiful answer, Your Honor, Salma. A very beautiful answer indeed. I guess I feel in a similar way. I share your views and feel that way about my responsibility here in British Columbia. I do hope that I can make some progress on the 3 themes that I have laid out, and can help to be a positive influence in terms of building a stronger understanding and a deeper commitment to the values that really I view as foundational Canadian values, and to be a bit of a counterweight to some of the challenges that we do see emerging elsewhere around the world, and certainly here in Canada, although not to the same degree. But I think we have a responsibility when we are in positions of influence, and we are, to use our office for good, and to use it in a way that actually reflects the values that have enabled us to benefit from life in Canada, and actually fulfill the roles that we have been granted to own for a brief period of time as we're stewards of these roles. So that for me will be very, very satisfying if I can feel by the end of my term that I have done that.
I love how much inclusion has featured in both of your answers to this question. I do a lot of work in end-of-life care, and I think it's one of my great realizations from that work that a shared fate and common humanity is really all that's required to develop empathy and a sense of community and support, and so I really think it's key. Both of you also mentioned this idea of Canadian values, and I wonder if either of you have anything to say about how well service is established in the Canadian value system, and is there anything the Ismaili community can do to strengthen this value in society as a whole? Madam Austin?
Well, I will, at the risk of repeating myself, just say again that you really do set an example for how to contribute generously, to live well and contribute generously in a world that is full of difference and has many challenges. I do believe that it is important to demonstrate those values and to influence people through example. I think there's a saying that example is not the best way to influence others, it's the only way. And I think it's an example that you set remarkably well. So the only thing I think we could do, and this is not for you to do, it's for people like me to do, is to bring a stronger profile and focus to the excellent work that you do in the community and the values that you espouse and demonstrate in the way you conduct yourselves professionally and in your volunteer work as well. I think the broader Canadian society can benefit a great deal from understanding that.
We're so lucky to have you as a champion. Madam Lakhani, do you have anything to say about service as a Canadian value?
Yes, well, I like to speak from an Alberta perspective. I do know that per capita, the involvement in the volunteer and non-profit sector is in Alberta is amongst the highest in Canada. We have 1.5 million volunteers at the last survey done, involved in all various different causes and not-for-profit sector. And we have 25,000 charities and not-for-profit. So there's lots and lots of opportunity for people to serve. And I'd like, if I may, Salima, I'd like to read something that our beloved Maulana Hazar Imam said when he addressed the Canadian Parliament in 2014. And what he said is, I have been impressed by recent studies showing the activity of voluntary institutions and not-for-profit organizations in Canada to be among the highest in the world. This Canadian spirit resonates a cherished principle in Shia Ismaili culture, the importance of contributing one's individual energies on a voluntary basis to improving the lives of others. And on that note, I would like to say, I alluded to the fact that my husband was chairman of the administrative committee, and Maulana Hazar Imam came to Edmonton for the Silver Jubilee celebrations in 1983. And at the end of the visit, when he was going back to the airport, my husband had the honor and privilege of being in the car with Maulana Hazar Imam. And Hazar Imam leaned forward and said to my husband, when you go back to my Jamaat, please tell all the volunteers how much I appreciate the amazing work that they are doing.
Salima, if I could just add to that, I do believe that one of the benefits, one of the silver linings of this past pandemic year has been that it has built trust and a sharing of knowledge and information among people who do not normally connect. And I think we do, as a result of the pandemic, better understand our mutual interdependence. I think there's also very interesting information about people's attitudes to the balance between professional and home life. And there are many people who are very keen to maintain some of the benefits of the opportunities to work partly from home, because people are able to, and this is very particularly true actually for men. They understand that they have benefited greatly from the opportunity to engage more frequently with their children and with their families. And there's medical evidence which demonstrates that that is healthier for them. It's actually healthier and better for their children, and it benefits the community overall. So this is one area where I think there can be a much better understanding of that mutual interdependence. So it is in family life, some of the benefits that we see from the pandemic, but also people's general willingness to reach out and show compassion and empathy and provide support for those that are not in their immediate orbit. These are things that I think we can take from the pandemic and hopefully continue in our lives as we evolve to the next phase of what it means to live together in community and in society.
And I'd like to say I agree with what Janet has said. And, you know, I always say 2020 was a year none of us wanted, but it is a year that we should never forget, because a lot of positive things have come out of the pandemic, and we should not forget those positive things.
You know, there is a receptivity to big ideas and to looking at things in different ways, you know, and to looking at different policy options for solving some of the really challenging issues that confront contemporary society. And whether you agree with those ideas or not is less important than the fact that people are actually willing to engage in discussions and debate them. And that's really the way forward, because if we don't speak to each other and we're not willing to listen to each other and listen to the ideas offered by others, well, then there's no path forward, really. So that is, I guess, again, an unexpected benefit that has come from the experience of the past year.
Yeah, and I also feel that a lot of the problems that we're facing at the moment are because people don't take the time to sit down around a table or virtually and sit down and chat with one another and listen to one another. I feel very strongly about that. And I know you do too, Janet, because you've organized a lot of round tables where people who don't think alike have come round and actually gotten to talk to one another and listen to one another, right?
Well, you know, if we don't make an effort to consciously reach out and engage with people whose views and experience are different, then we're really only talking to ourselves. Yes. And that takes us precisely nowhere. So yeah, it's quite fundamental, but we live in a polarizing world of polarizing technology. And I think those of us who are in a position to do so need to stand up and be a counterweight to that.
Yeah, and I guess doing so requires us all to make ourselves a little bit uncomfortable, to explore the other perspective and different points of view, and really be open to changing our minds. And I guess if this year has given us anything, it's a lot of experience being uncomfortable. Do either one of you have any closing remarks that you'd like to offer as we wind down our conversation today?
Well, I guess I would just close by saying, repeating again, how much I value the opportunity to meet with you this evening, to engage with the Ismaili community in Canada, and to reinforce how very much I feel a strong sense of alignment with the values and the vision that is articulated through your culture and your faith. You know, it's a vision of generosity and kindness to the broader community. It's a vision of a world which is inclusive of all faiths, cultures, and beliefs. And it's something that I believe deeply that we all need to join together and work towards create that better future for everyone.
Yeah, and I'd like to say that if you have the opportunity to volunteer, remember, voluntary service comes in lots and lots of different forms. Just follow your passion, follow what you care about, but do volunteer if you are able to, because it really helps build community, build stronger, vibrant communities, successful communities, and as a result, Maulana Hazar Imam always says, make Canada your home and contribute to building your country.
Here are two final quotes. The first is, you can't carry a torch for someone else without lighting the way for yourself. And I think that's very true of people who make that commitment to volunteerism that Salma is describing. And the second one of my favorites, is the greatest gift possible is the gift of yourself. And so I would just thank the Ismaili community and the people who join us this evening for giving that gift so very generously to Canadian society. And I thank you.
And one last quote from me, Salima. Mahatma Gandhi said that in order to find oneself, you have to lose yourself in the service of others.
I think that's a lovely note for us to end on today. Your Honors, thank you so much for joining us and for sharing your experience and your knowledge with us. I think we all walk away with some new ideas and inspiration to turbocharge our own commitments to service. Thank you, and Yali Madad.
Thank you. Thank you,
Yali
Yali
Madad.
Madad.
I would love to be like those women when I grow up. So thoughtful, so accomplished, and so inspirational. And now it's time to hear from some of you. We asked a few volunteers from across the country about their experience serving in the community. Here's what they had to say.
I started my journey as an Ismaili Scout volunteer in Pakistan, and then joined the Ismaili Volunteers Corps in Ottawa in 2008. I have been blessed with many opportunities to serve the Jamaat on different capacities.
My first memories of being a volunteer was when I was about 5 years old in Tanga, bringing Nandi from outside into the Jamaat Khana prayer hall. And honestly, I can't remember a day when I was not a volunteer.
I started volunteering from Girl Guide, Pathfinder, IVC member, and then in Jamaat Khana with all the different committees. I joined the burial, starting with the burial plan, Al Akbar advertising, Ismaili Canada advertising, and then fundraising started. So I started fundraising for AKF, Focus, all the different segments of the Aga Khan Foundation, Ismaili Partnership Walk, Ismaili Walk, and don't forget JSF.
One of my biggest motivation and most memorable event was during Hazrat Imam's Padramni to Dar es Salaam, when we got to participate in painting and decorating the Jamaat Khana along with other festivities.
The satisfaction of helping others, making a difference, finding a purpose, connecting with the Jamaat, as well as serving hand to hand, shoulder to shoulder with fellow volunteers is what motivates me as a volunteer.
The main source of motivation and inspiration for me and for my family is Maulana Hazar Imam. His tireless work to provide a better quality of life, not just for our Jamaat, but to people all over the world, is what inspires me.
Volunteering is rewarding. You make friends, you get to know the Jamaat, and you get involved in lots of things.
I have a lot of fond memories of my time as a volunteer, but one thing that comes to mind is when in the early 2000s, a number of Afghan Ismaili families arrived in Red Deer, Alberta. Our Jamaat worked hard to help as best as we could, from helping them find housing and jobs, using our networks to help them access family doctors, and enrolling their children in schools. I'll be honest, I didn't know much about Afghanistan, but the families shared with us their stories and their experiences,
One of my fondest memories would be the Kushali celebration at the Toronto International Centre. This event was large, took a number of days to set up, and we would meet volunteers from all across Ontario. We would have fun and celebrate the event, and then wrap up everything and put it back the way it was. We got an empty building, we had a huge celebration, and we give back an empty building. And that's one of my fondest memories, especially with the various different volunteers that you would meet there, the different Jamati members you would meet there, as well as working shoulder to shoulder for one event which we all celebrated together.
This journey has blessed me with many fond memories, and the memory that I cherish the most is Mulakat, a historical moment in all our lives. Volunteering alongside other volunteers who've worked day and night with smiles on their faces is a memory that brings me joy and happiness every time I recall it.
My fondest memory is partnership walk. It is in my heart, and I really believe in that helping out poor of the world. I started from the beginning, from the first walk, and then it kept on going for this is 36th year.
I have found that the more I give myself to volunteering, the happier I feel. And it gives me the drive to do more and more. In the end, volunteering has never been about specific roles or awards for me. It has always been about giving back to those around me, including family, friends, and those in need.
What wonderful stories from our dedicated volunteers. Now, new to Friday Night Reflections, it's time to play Family Challenge IVC Edition. Volunteers from across the country will now face off to test their knowledge of volunteer trivia. My dear friends, please welcome Council for Canada member for Ismaili Volunteers, purveyor of the most delicious hot wings in town, and all-around great guy, your host, Mo Jessa.
All right, hello. Welcome. How's everybody doing out there? Nice to see you all. Welcome to the Family Challenge IVC edition. And we have 6 contestants representing each of the 6 local jurisdictions, but it's an epic East versus the West battle for IVC trivia supremacy. And for the greatest prize, the most coveted 1 IV mug that the teams are going to scrap it out for. And for those of you at home, I just wanted to let you know the rules are the same ones that you know, but each team will be given a question. This question was answered by a dedicated group of volunteers. If the contestants' answers match the answers provided by the surveyed volunteers, they will be awarded points. But if the team misses 3 times, the opposite team will give an opportunity to answer and steal the points for that question. Okay? So, are we ready?
Yes!
All right, let's meet the contestants. We will start with the West family. No relation to Kanye West. But the West family from British Columbia, we have Nawal Abdul Khalik. Welcome, Nawal.
Yalimada, it's great to be here. I'm really excited.
Okay, great. Come on, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm from Burnaby, British Columbia. I love music, and my favorite food is chicken curry.
Oh, yeah, and you have all those fancy Indian restaurants there, Ismaili run. I love those restaurants. And from Edmonton, we have Imran Hassam. Welcome, Imran.
Yali Madat, everybody. Thank you. Excited to be here.
Okay, great. Come on, tell us something good about Edmonton.
Lots of good about Edmonton. The Oilers, come on. Where else am I going to go with this? Definitely the Oilers. There's a lot, our city. people who don't really give it a chance, you know, they don't really get to see. But there's so many nice places to walk. So especially during COVID, perfect place to be. So many walkways here and nice things to see.
Oh, no, I feel like there's going to be a rivalry on the West team as we go down the list. And so representing the Prairies, we have Shaista Murji. What do you have to say about the Edmonton Oilers, Shaista?
They're great. I can't say anything bad. He's on my team. But yali madat everyone. Really excited to be here today.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, well, so now for the East family. No relation to Andrew, you know, for any of you NFL fans out there. But from Quebec and Maritimes, we have our Major, Shoaib. Welcome, Major.
Thank you, Yalimadat, everyone. I'm so happy to be here and to see you all here. And let's play.
All right. Next, we're going to go to Ottawa. From Ottawa, we have Rahim Amlani. Welcome, Rahim.
Thank you, Yalmadad. Very excited to be here and to represent Ottawa and Kingston Jamaat Khana and 1IV as a whole.
All right, tell us a little bit about the capital. What do you do there?
We have breakfast and lunch with Justin Trudeau every single day, in case you didn't know. Fun fact. And that's about it on our end. That's as exciting as it gets.
Hopefully you'll get a vaccine from Justin Trudeau in Ottawa too. I'm looking forward to that. And representing Ontario, here's Azan Jetta. Welcome, Azan.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm Azan from Hamilton and huge Raptors fan. And my favorite food is biryani.
Oh, well. You can use your 1IV mug and have it with biryani. I can't wait for you to try to win this thing. And now we're going to go right into the questions, okay? So remember, these questions were answered by dedicated volunteers. You guys got to get them right. But we're going to start with the West family. The West family is going to get the first question. Are you ready? Okay, name a reason people join IVC. Let's start with Nawal. Come on, Nawal. What is the name a reason why people join IVC?
I'm going to have to say to find peace.
To find peace. To find peace. Is the answer up there? No, Nawal. No. Okay, well, in that case, let's go to Imran. Imran, name a reason people join IVC.
To feel fulfillment.
To feel fulfilled. Judges, I think okay, let's see. Yes, we have enlightened self-fulfillment. Excellent, Imran. You got one on the board. Excellent. Okay, let's go to Shaista. Name a reason people join IVC.
Because it's fun.
Because it's fun. Okay, let's see what's on the board. Movie and pizza nights. The judges help you out there. I think that's a nice way to get 2 on the board. Okay, well, let's go back to Nawal. Nawal, name a reason why people join IVC.
I'm going to have to say to help others.
To help others. Well, let's see what's on the board. Oh, no, Nawal. Good try. I actually thought that would be up there, but I'm sorry. Okay, well, let's see if Imran can rescue the team. Come on, Imran.
Okay, so this is not me. This is not me, but to make the parents happy.
To make the parents happy. Let's see if that's on the board. Oh, no. 3 strikes. That means, all right. The next question, it goes back to the East for an answer. We're going to go. You guys have to confer the Eastern team and see if you can get this question answered. Name a reason people join IVC. Ready?
East team, what are we thinking? What do we think?
What we're thinking? I think to see an impact, the impact that we're doing, and I'm not sure how to put it in words, so I don't know, team, what you guys think of that.
Does Team East think to do Seva, the most basic answer is going to be up there?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Do we think it's up there?
Positive impact on people's life.
Make an impact on people's lives. Okay, okay, team. Well, let's see what's on the board. Is make an impact on people's lives up there? Oh, no, you missed it. The West wins the point. I guess that's the way it goes. Well, you know, the Oilers seem to have taken the lead here. Let's look at what the answers were. Oh, the reason why people join IVC is cute people in uniform. Everybody should know that. What's the next answer? Meet new people. What a best way to meet new people. I've seen people build relationships that are lifelong. What's the next answer? The red and green. Where else are you going to see green and red together outside of Christmas? It's going to be with the IVC. That's why you need to be with this. What's the last answer on the board? Work with Mojasa. Now, I'm a little bit disappointed with the group. I mean, especially Shoaib. Come on. You should know that that's the reason why people join IVC. But those are the top answers on the board. All right, get next to the next question. This time we're going to go to the East family. The East family, are you ready? Are you ready for the next section? The question.
Yes.
All right, the question is, name a duty performed by a volunteer in Jamaat Khana, but outside the prayer hall during the pandemic. Okay, name a duty performed by a volunteer in Jamaat Khana, but outside the prayer hall during the pandemic. Shoaib, what's your best answer?
The registration desk.
Oh, the registration desk. Is the registration desk up there? Nice! Basically, you are just killing it because you know the whole system. Great answer. Okay, let's see what Raheem has to say. What is the name of a duty that a volunteer performs in Jamaat Khana but outside the prayer hall?
I would say parking duty.
Let's see if parking is up there. Oh no, Raheem. Nice try though, nice try. Okay, Azan. Now I'm going to read the question carefully because I think Raheem just missed the nuance here. Name a duty performed by a volunteer in Jamaat Khana but outside the prayer hall during the pandemic.
I'm going to go with having to keep us safe and clean, so sanitizing and cleaning Jamaat Khana.
Is sanitizing up there? Yes! Great answer, great answer. Okay, let's go back to Major Shoaib. Give us the name of a duty performed by a volunteer in Jamaat Khana, but outside the prayer hall during the pandemic.
Security team.
Security team. Okay, nice work. Okay, let's see if security team is up there. Oh, nice. The judges are so kind. The security team is involved in auditing. So there it is. That's on the board. The Eastern team is killing it right now. Let's go to Azan. Let us get more on the board. Azan, what else is a duty performed by a volunteer in Jamaat Khana outside the prayer hall?
Crowd control.
All right. Okay. We have crowd control on the board. Yes. The shoe area traffic control system. Crowd control is the best word for it. So great answer, Azan. You got us on the board. This is looking like a sweep. If we can get one more answer up there, team, you basically shut out the West. Let's go back to Major Shoaib. Major, what is another duty performed by a volunteer in Jamaat Khana outside the prayer hall? Can we get it?
The escalation team.
Escalation team. Okay. Let's see if escalation team is up on the board. Oh, this is getting close. Eastern team, you got to pull it together, Reem. Let's get them back. Let's get this back.
I'm going to say foyer volunteering.
Foyer volunteering. Is foyer volunteering up there? Oh, no, you guys opened up the room for the West to come back. And now we're going to go to the West side. Remember, West, this is going to be something a little outside of the normal box of duties. So what is a name of a duty performed by a volunteer in Jamaat Khana, but outside the prayer hall?
Would it be like the scheduling volunteer, like the captains and the vice captains?
The registration. There's also, I don't know if this counts as shoe area, but we've got the ushering to go inside Kane. I don't know if that counts as shoe area traffic or what. But
I
there's
think
also
it's
that.
flow volunteers.
Which one?
Like flow volunteers.
Yeah, flow volunteers. I don't know if it's the same, but then there's also assigning vara. I know they pre-do it in our Kane, but I don't know, maybe some Kanes they.
Yeah,
and then there's also maintaining silence, I guess.
Let's do vara team. I like that.
Okay, is assigning varas on the board. Assigning varas. That was completely out of the box. My goodness, you guys are killing it right now. You are incredible. What a nice way to come back and steal that one from the East. I love it. Okay, well, we're going to go back and give the West another chance. And this time they have a chance to really put this game away. And your question is, are you ready, West? Name a way you can volunteer outside of Jamaat Khana operations. Name a way you can volunteer, but it's outside of Jamaat Khana operations. Imran, what do you have to say?
Okay, let's do this because I actually helped with it, the access line.
Oh, is access line on the board? Number 3 points. 3 volunteers said that. Excellent. Nice way to get on the board. Okay, Shaista.
Helping with grocery requests.
Helping with grocery requests. Is helping with grocery requests up on the board? Oh, that was close. That was a good, yes. So I think if you're thinking about it, you might have to think a little outside of the Jamaat Khana operations, a little bit bigger. And so I'm going to give a chance to Nawal to rescue the team. What is a name, a way you can volunteer outside of Jamaat Khana operations? Think outside.
I would say volunteer with Civic Canada.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see if Civic is on the board. Yes, cleaning a park. That is a civic initiative. And that's how you can volunteer outside. Let's go back. You guys are getting hot now. Hot. Imran.
We can help with the food bank drive.
All right. Food bank. I have a feeling. Let's see if it's on the board. Oh, so that was close. Maybe you might want to be a bit more specific. Shaista, you're up.
Helping seniors?
Okay, helping seniors. Is helping seniors on the board? Oh, this is the 3rd strike. You guys have left so many answers on the board. Oh my goodness. Eastern team, this is your chance, your big chance. You're going to take it. Okay, I'm going to give it to you. Name a way you can volunteer outside of Jamaat Khana operations. What do you guys? Give one good answer. Consult. Let's come up with one. Come on, Eastern team.
I think we should go with Seva at home.
Seva at home. That's great. Anybody else? Maybe. What about the comms team that's sending out all of the Al Akbar letters? I don't know. Do you think that's one?
Yeah, helping the boards, or I would say also the mentorship that we had with I think the crisis line that we had a program, and many volunteers participated in that as a volunteer to help.
Nice discussion, team. Nice discussion. You're warming up to an answer. What is your answer? A way to volunteer outside of Jamaat Khana operations. There's many areas. What's a good specific area?
Azan Seva at home,
let's go with Seva at home.
Okay, team, let's see if Seva at home is on the board. Oh no! That means the West steals this point. Wow, way to go, way to go. Okay, let's see what's on the board. What are the top answers? Volunteering with a board or portfolio or BUI. We have social welfare, we have economic planning board, we have AKYSB, health board. We have tons of opportunities for people to volunteer in all those boards and portfolios. And BUI, right? What's another thing on the board? A non-profit board. Lots of people have a chance to volunteer outside of our community. Excellent. Next answer. An opportunity to give blood. That was a big drive we did during the pandemic. It worked out extremely well. And the last answer on the board is support a local political candidate. That is excellent. Well, nice try, you guys. Nice try. Okay, we're going to go to the next question. This time, the East is going to get another chance to redeem yourselves. This is a really nice question. Okay, are you ready, Eastern team? Are you ready? What are some ways that volunteers have supported the Jamaat through the pandemic? Raheem, what do you, Raheem, what do you think?
I'm going to say access line.
All right, let's see if access line is on the board. Access line, number one. Way to go, way to go. It looks like this is going to be a nice chance for the East to come back. Okay, so we're going to go to Azan next. What is some ways that volunteers have supported the Jamaat through the pandemic?
I'm going to have to go with dropping off food and medicine.
Oh, nice. Okay, that was done, right? So what is your answer? Is dropping off food and medicine. Is that on the board? Dropping off meal and grocery delivery. Number 2 answer. This is getting really hot. You guys are on a roll right now. Shoaib, tell us, what are some ways that volunteers have supported the Jamaat during the pandemic?
The checkup calls with the Jamaati members.
All right, let's see if checking on Jamaati members is on the board. Number 3, look at this. This is like a hat trick. 3 in a row. You guys are doing amazing right now. Amazing. Well, let's just get it done. Raheem, what is another way that volunteers have supported the Jamaat during the pandemic?
Multiple initiatives to stay connected.
Initiatives to stay connected. I know what you mean. Let's see if the judges will go for it. Virtual programming. Nice one. Look at how well you guys are doing. Look at how well you guys are doing. I mean, Azan, if there was pressure, this would be pressure. Don't ruin the streak. This is your up at bat. This is the time to shine. This is the time you actually nail it. What are some ways that volunteers have supported the Jamaat during the pandemic? What do you think?
Dropping Jamaati members for appointments.
Okay, dropping Jamaati members for appointments, like doctor's appointments, like that?
Yes.
Okay, let's see if that's on the board. Let's see if you were warm enough there. Okay. I mean, the judges themselves deserve some credit here, and you should really hug them because they really gave it to you. Healthcare questions and navigation, you were helping them out. And my goodness, what a way to finish. Wow, the East team just came back on fire and scored all of the points. Didn't even give the West a chance to steal. This is amazing. And so I'm ready to declare the winner. The winner, even after the really good comeback from the East, is the Western team. The family from the West wins. And let's remember, you guys were going for a coveted 1 IV mug. Oh, I can't wait to see it in your hands. I think I get one just for hosting the show. I didn't want to do it until I heard that there was a 1 IV mug at stake. Now I'm so glad that I did it. And because we are one family, you know what we're going to do? We're going to give all the contestants 1 IV mugs that you will receive, so everybody wins on this show. It's amazing. Thank you. Thank you. You will be immortalized on YouTube for this episode on Friday Night Reflections. You will be famous forever. And I thank you for your participation today. Thank you for joining the Family Challenge IVC edition. See you next time.
That was so much fun. Thank you to all of our contestants for playing along with us and being such good sports. I haven't seen that many people in uniform for a long time, and it's really heartwarming. Now, as always, we end with some musical expressions. This week, we have a song released for International Volunteer Day. Thank you for joining us this week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and have a wonderful week.
خورشید درخشان
تابیده بر برگ درختان،
رقصان با باد شادمان،
شاخه هایشان دستان در دست،
میوه هایشان هر یک به یک رنگ، همراه و همدل.
Can you hear my heart beating? Can you hear it calling? Can you feel the longing? Your presence is calming. The way you share your time and your knowledge, your life, your light, your strength and your promise. Your smile is inviting. I seek and I'm finding. It's how we give, it's how we live. Ayo, ayo, ay, so much to celebrate. Ayo, ayo, ay, I pray we stay this way. Ayo, ayo, ay, you put me first. There's a love that's felt and heard. Oh, work, no word.
Le toi en toi, c'est le moi en moi.
चाहे जो नाम दो, चाहे जो काम हो,
Nous sommes unis, nous sommes une famille. Pour tout ce que nous avons, nous vous remercions.
चाहे जो हो हम साथ रहेंगे, वास्ता दास्ता
जमात है. Ayo, ayo, ay, so much to celebrate. Ayo, ayo, ay, I pray we stay this way. Ayo, ayo, ay, you put me first. There's a love that's felt and heard. Oh, work, no word. Warmth and compassion is kindness in action.
the kind that'll be there without even asking.
The thing that changed it all for me began when me became weak.
Your smile is inviting. I seek and I'm finding. It's how we give, it's how we live. Ayo, ayo, ay, so much to celebrate. Ayo, ayo, ay, I pray we stay this way. Ayo, ayo, ay, you put me first. There's a love that's felt and heard. Oh, work, no word.
ليلا ونهارا نحن حاضرون لهذه خدماتي نحن ممتنون
इच्छा तारी अन्य तारी खुशी सेवा कारणे हमें छिए आही 100 वर्ष पहलाने 100 वर्ष पछि प्रीतनी रीत रहे शे जारी pamoja pamoja kila siku tuko pamoja hey,
جمیع یاران